Hey everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. Mark, I've been down a rabbit hole this week, and I think I've found something you'll find pretty interesting.
Oh, I'm always up for a good rabbit hole. What's got you intrigued, Jenny?
I've been researching automated storage and retrieval systems, ASRS. Basically, those huge automated warehouses that are popping up everywhere.
Oh yeah, the ones that look like giant robotic beehives? I've always thought they were fascinating. They seem like something straight out of a sci-fi flick.
Right? And the market for them is exploding. It was valued at something like $7.71 billion in 2023, and they're projecting it to reach over $15 billion by 2032. That's enormous growth.
Wow, that's a huge increase. We're talking about a CAGR of nearly 8%. What's driving that kind of expansion, do you think?
Well, there are several factors. E-commerce is, no surprise, a asterisk major times driver. Just think about all those online orders that need to be fulfilled quickly and accurately. ASRS is built for that.
That makes sense. Plus, I bet labor shortages factor in, right? I mean, companies are continually searching for ways to automate processes.
You nailed it. And the technology itself keeps advancing. We're seeing more and more sophisticated systems with, times advanced inventory management capabilities.
So it's not just times about storing things. It's about storing things times intelligently. What kinds of different technologies are we talking about? I mean, there are probably different types of ASRS, right?
Yep, there are. A common one is the unit load ASRS, which is great for handling those big palletized loads.
Okay, those are the big ones I've seen in pictures, with those massive cranes moving things around.
Right. But then there are also these robotic shuttle-based systems, which are gaining popularity, especially in e-commerce fulfillment. They're more flexible and can handle smaller items really efficiently.
Ah, so they're like the worker bees, zipping around and grabbing individual products. Like a high-tech, super organized swarm.
Exactly. And then you have vertical lift modules, or VLMs, which are kind of like giant vending machines for parts and tools.
It's amazing how specialized these systems have become. So apart from e-commerce, where else are we seeing these used?
Manufacturing is huge. They use ASRS to manage raw materials, any work-in-progress inventory, and, of course, finished goods. It helps streamline the entire production process.
So it's improving efficiency, and probably safety too. Less manual handling of heavy or awkward items.
Definitely. In retail, ASRS helps with order picking and replenishment, making sure shelves are stocked and, customers get what they need when they need it.
Sounds like a win-win situation. But, are there any downsides? I mean, it can't times be sunshine and roses, right?
Well, the initial investment is time substantial. These systems aren't cheap. So that can be a barrier for smaller businesses.
I can imagine. It's like the difference between buying a whole fleet of robots versus hiring a few extra warehouse workers. Huge upfront cost.
And then there's the whole complexity of integrating these systems with existing warehouse management software. That can be a real technical challenge.
Right, you need to make sure everything is communicating correctly. Otherwise, you could end up with a very expensive and very inefficient robot army. And no one wants that.
Haha, no, definitely not. But, thinking ahead, where do you see this technology going in the future?
I think AI and machine learning will play an even bigger times role. Imagine ASRS systems that can predict demand, optimize storage locations in real time, and even anticipate when they'll need maintenance.
So they'll become even smarter and more autonomous. That's a little bit sci-fi, but also pretty exciting.
And I think sustainability will become a key factor. Companies are looking for ways to reduce their environmental footprint, so I'd expect to see a focus on energy-efficient ASRS systems.
That makes sense. It's not just about efficiency anymore. It's about doing things responsibly. Less wasted energy, optimized space utilization, that sort of thing.
Exactly. And it's also interesting to see the regional differences in adoption. Asia-Pacific, particularly China, is probably times embracing this technology.
Yeah, they're seeing rapid growth in e-commerce and manufacturing, so it makes sense that they'd be early adopters.
While North America and Europe are more focused on, from what I gather, upgrading their existing infrastructure.
So it's a global thing, but with different approaches depending on each region's needs and priorities. It's fascinating.
It is. Are big companies, like Dematic and Daifuku, are they leading the development of these systems?
Yeah, they're major players. Along with companies like Murata Machinery and Swisslog, they're the ones constantly innovating and, pushing the boundaries.
The scale and complexity are Well, it's impressive. A far cry from the old days of manual warehouses, that's for sure.
It really is. It's all about automation, optimization, and adapting to the ever-increasing demands of, well, everything. But, Mark, there's also a flip side to all this automation that we should probably touch on. I mean, what about the potential for job losses?
That's a great point, Jenny. It's something we can't ignore. While ASRS creates efficiency, it also means fewer people are needed for certain warehouse tasks. That could be a real problem in some areas.
Right. And on top of the job displacement, are there other drawbacks?
Well, the research I have in front of me mentions the energy consumption of these huge systems. Are they always as green as they could be?
That's a valid concern. While they optimize space, the initial energy to run them, and even to asterisk build them, has to be significant. I mean, manufacturing all that steel and robotics.
Something we should probably delve into more in a future episode. Maybe a whole segment on the sustainability of automation? We could even have a listener poll.
I love that. We could ask our listeners what they think is the biggest times driver of ASRS demand: e-commerce, labor shortages, tech advancements, or manufacturing needs. It would give us great insight.
Or we could get even more specific. Ask them for their personal take. How do they think ASRS will impact Times Regional Times employment over the next, say, 5 years?
Ooh, I like that even more. Make it a bit more personal. And we could do a social media prompt, too. Something like, will AI be the brains behind future ASRS? Tell us what you think.
Perfect. We can gather responses and feature them in a follow-up. Maybe even a listener call-in segment sometime. Get some first-hand experiences.
Getting the audience involved always makes it much more engaging. For us, and times for them.
Well, Jenny, thanks for shedding light on this. As usual, you've given me and our listeners a great insight into this.
My pleasure, Mark. It's a fascinating topic, and it's only going to get more times interesting as things evolve. And to our listeners, thanks for joining us. Until next time.
See ya, everyone.